What is up, Misfits and Moonbasers? It's your boy Ray Recall coming at you again with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at another Marvel Legends figure. That's right. So, without any further ado, this is going to be the Marvel Legends Gamerverse version from the Avengers video game that's coming out. Version of Iron Man. Yes. So, here we have the packaging. Really simple. Really basic, nice picture of the in-game armor right there. And yeah, not much else to say about the package. So let's go ahead and get it out of the package and take a look at the figure proper. And here we have him out of the packaging. Now, real quick, of course, since this is a Marvel Legends figure, they do have a Build-A-Figure in this series. I think it's the Abomination. And he comes with Abomination's leg. So, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that this is the video game version of Abomination, since we've already gotten a more comic-accurate version in Marvel Legends before. Now, I will say something interesting about this. This material that they use for Abominations, or that they're using for this Build-A-Figure piece, feels oddly soft for some reason. It's not really the same type of firm plastic as on other Marvel Legends figures. At least it doesn't feel that way. It feels much more smooth, and it does have a little bit of a pliableness to it. Of course, the pants are a very rubbery material. In fact, you can even just... Can you take them off? No, it's glued on, but they do have some kind of bendableness to them. But yeah, very interesting. Probably not going to go in for the full Abomination figure, because I don't really have an attachment to the character, and I don't feel like getting a lot of most of the characters that are going to be in this line, so... but yeah. Foot comparison. Anyway, moving on to Iron Man himself, really, really well done figure. He is a little bit wobbly here and there, but once you get him standing, he's perfectly fine. I don't know if this comes off, but the red here is like this nice metallic finished plastic. Really nicely done on that. He does have red and gold throughout, with a few accents of this kind of silver grayish material, as well as some blue for the well sculpted arc reactor. I don't know how well it's coming off on camera, but it's actually got some sculpting to it. And then for the eyes, and excuse me. Now, if you look at his face sculpt, it's really, really nice. It is its own beast compared to the movie version, but it is still very much Iron Man, and a very realistic looking Iron Man as well. Interesting, he's got the little gold accents there. And at first I thought these were like his faceplate was like shaded in or something, but that's just natural lighting, so they really did well on the face sculpt. Articulation, his head is on a ball joint. It can do a full 360 with a little bit of wiggle. The ball joint itself is on a hinge that can go forward that far and look down that far. Nothing at the base of the neck. Shoulders can do a full 360. They can go in and out only so much due to the fact that he's got this shoulder pad. I don't know if there's a way to... yeah, the shoulder pad limits the outward articulation to about that much, but it's still usable. Not thigh rotation, bicep rotation right here. Double jointed elbow with, let's see here. This one doesn't really have much bend to it, this lower elbow joint, so you only get about that much degree of bend in the arm. The hands, he does come with two sets of hands. He does come with a set of fists. Comes with a left and a right. And then he comes with a set of repulsor gauntlet hands. Again, a left and a right. And if you can see, the hands are on this little peg hinge assembly. So you do have a hinge at the wrist as well as a wrist rotation. And then for these hands, we'll get into it later, but they also have the hole for the repulsor accessory. He does have a ab crunch, go about that much, and can arc back about that far. He does have a waist rotation, although it's a ratcheted waist rotation. That's interesting. Although it does break up the sculpt whenever you use it, but it's there. Legs can go forward that far, back about that far, about that much spread. He does have a super tight thigh rotation. Let's see. Double bend at the knee. And then for the foot, it is on a hinge. You can point down that much, out not so much, and a bit of a rotation there. And then the bottom of his feet do have those little holes, so you can either put them on a figure stand or shove the repulsor effect in there. And that actually is a pretty nice looking repulsor effect. I don't know how well it comes off on camera, but in hand it has this very, it's kind of like a teal, but whenever the light hits it just right, it almost has like a metallic sheen to it. It's pretty nice. And as I said before, you can either stick them in the bottoms of the feet, so if you have him like a flight stand or something like that, you can have him blasting off. Or if you swap out the hands, which again are just on those little pegs, you just shove a repulsor blast in there, and he'd be blasting fools, like so. And one thing I like about this figure is that compared to some of the other Marvel Legend Iron Man figures that I've handled before, the repulsor hand is actually able to articulate back. The others, they're kind of like fixed in this like forward-facing pose like this, where the blast is angled out forward, and you can rotate them, but you couldn't really articulate up and down. What was it? The same mold that was used for Infamous Iron Man or Doctor Doom Iron Man. That mold had a very similar sculpt, and you couldn't really move the hands of that. But I'm glad that they gave this one the option. Now for size comparison, he is a standard size Marvel Legends figure, so if I can just get him to stop waddling around. Here he is with Marvel Legends She-Hulk. And again, she's actually quite large for a Marvel Legends figure, so the fact that she stands over Tony Stark, that's intentional. He's not short, she's just really tall. And here is Leader Class Shockwave without all of his extra odds and ends, so more like Voyager Class Shockwave. Yep. And there you have that. And so there you go. That's been the Marvel Legends Gamerverse version of Iron Man. I like this figure. I have... Whoop. My stand is not exactly stable. Come on, there you go. He balances fine on flat surfaces, it's just that my surface here isn't perfectly flat, so I'm just gonna get him. There we go. Yeah. So, as I was saying, there you have Iron Man. One thing I want to point out is that this gold is a lot more metallic and a lot less yellow in person. My camera is just making it really yellow for some reason. I don't know why. But, yeah. So there you go. Now I personally love Iron Man. I've always loved Iron Man since the since the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. But especially with Robert Downey Jr.'s first Iron Man movie, that just cemented my appreciation for this character. I've always wanted a Marvel Legends Iron Man, but I've just never been able to get around to getting one until now. So I'm glad that this one is one that I have. I like the mold. I like the sculpt. I like the details, the painting, articulation. Joints are nice and tight. Honestly, the only gripe I have about this figure is just that his shoulder pads kind of get in the way a little bit of the articulation. Other than that, it's amazing. I just love this figure. So if you can pick them up, definitely do so. I got mine at retail, but you can always check it out online or at any of your local comic games, nerd shops, whatever you want to call it. So I think that'll about do it. So this has been the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Iron Man. I am Ray Recall. Y'all have been awesome. And I will see y'all in the next video review. See you then. Peace.